Welcome to Bonnie's virtual Outstanding Educator Award ceremony. We are so excited to present this to her tonight and so excited that you could all join us for that. Just a little bit about how the evening will go. My name is Nicole. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at the ISC. So I'm just going to give you the rundown. So we're going to do this little intro, and then the ISC Executive Director, Johannah Hutchison, will speak, and then we will have an opportunity to hear from Bonnie. After we hear from Bonnie, we have a few colleagues and friends that would like to share as well. And then to kind of close out, we have a special video from the Penn State School of Visual Arts MFA exhibition. So when we get there, Bonnie will tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll close out our evening and move into this nice long weekend. So with that, Johanna, whenever you are ready, I will let you take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Quite a few people I know here. It's so good to see some of you. I haven't seen you in a while. And shame we're not in person. This is our first Educator Award online. So here we go. Let's hope we're in person again next time. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Johannah Hutchison, the Executive Director of the ISC. I've been with the organization for about 16 years. So I've seen 16 educators come on for the award, and it's not just about receiving the award, it's about being part of the community thereafter. So the ISC, it's a member-supported nonprofit organization that was founded in 1960, and its mission is to champion the creation of and understanding of sculpture and its unique and vital contribution to society. At the very core of our mission and our vision and values, we're really a community to anyone and everyone that has an interest in or a commitment to the field. One of our directives is to recognize excellence in the field. We have a student award, and I can see some past student award winners in the room. We have a patron award, and we have a lifetime achievement award, and of course the educator award, the reason why we're here tonight. So the award is given annually by the ISC to honor inspiring, influential artists who have taught sculpture at institutions of higher learning for 15 or more years and have sustained exemplary careers as professional artists. Recipients are valued by students and colleagues as mentors for future generations, are recognized nationally and internationally for their significant artistic production, and have made substantial contributions to the field. So that's a great statement, and I can tell you we're always discussing that statement and refining it. But what are we looking for in the criteria as we try to determine who we give this award to? Well, it's a very rigorous process with well-defined criteria that's developed by peers in the field. And Bonnie will attest to that because she's now become part of the committee, and they review the criteria every year, and just to make sure that they really are keeping up to date and being current. And that criteria developed by the peers is something that defines and divides those that just teach and educators that have truly dedicated their lives to the next generation and have proven results that demonstrate the impact of their contribution. So a successful candidate would have a considerable body of work and should be knowledgeable in the history, theories, and innovations that compose the subject of sculpture. This knowledge, along with the visible personal research and informed technical vocabulary, will have resulted in teaching effectiveness. The ability to articulate this knowledge in the identification and promotion of each student's creative potential defines the spirit of the ISC Educator Award. So all of you that are gathered here today, you know Bonnie. So you know that she clearly reaches and exceeds the parameters and markers that are set for this recognition. In her statement, Bonnie said, This is so poetic. It's beautiful. I love it. That's why I'm repeating it. She said, when the key turns in the studio door, I become part director, part fabricator, and part weird scientist. Slip sliding between these roles, I work from a patchwork of signifiers, physical material, and cultural references, questioning hierarchies often presumed in art, history, pop culture, politics, and consumerism. Each angle of my sculpture has a job to do, to pose questions and conclusions while a body turns in space. When this occurs, the viewer becomes essential in the gap between parts as they collaborate to the production of meaning. While figurative sculpture in the 21st century is often considered redundant and obsolete, it fascinates me how culture continues to fetishize the human body. And I just loved your words, Bonnie, so I wanted to repeat them. This is part of her application and her statement. So I was really moved by that and agree that we're often having this argument about, figurative sculpture. So I love that Bonnie's approach to the figure has really helped promote an area of art that people do sometimes feel is obsolete. So I think it's wonderful that, your work is continuing to bring the subject up using sculpture. And if you haven't seen the magazine, the most recent issue, you'll get a chance. Nicole will give you an opportunity to get a free copy of the magazine. But everything that Bonnie just said in her statement there just exemplifies her work, and that piece on the cover just, you'll read, if you haven't seen it, you'll see it, it just resonates with everything she said in her statement. So it's a beautiful cover. So the process, as I said, is rigorous, and it is not easy to receive this award. So we should definitely be really proud of Bonnie receiving this award. But part of it comes with all the recommendations that come in. And I think, honestly, Bonnie has received the most recommendations from any person that has ever applied. So Bonnie had so many recommendations. And I know some of the people that recommend her are going to speak today. But I pulled out a couple that I really felt just how much work and how much influence Bonnie has had on her students. So this is from Helen O'Leary, said, Bonnie, pulls out the promise in students. I thought that was beautiful, that she pulls out the promise in students, relentless with her contagious work ethic and drive. She sets a high bar for herself and everyone in the classroom. And then the other one I pulled out was from Tyler Matthew Oyer. Bonnie commands and encourages a hardworking, rigorous learning and making environment that encouraged myself and my peers to excel and helped shape my own work ethic beyond the safety of the academy and into the unpredictable art world and art markets. That very last part is so important, that students come out of their learning and feel prepared for the art world. So I loved that part. Beyond the safety of the academy and into the unpredictable art world and art markets. So I think that these two are just two samples that I picked out that really show the importance of having an educator that is beside you, behind you, and in front of you, preparing you for what you don't even know is going to come up. So with that, I'd like to say congratulations, and Bonnie a hand, and we'll carry on.
Thank you so much, Johanna, for taking the time to say all that.
And I think you have an actual award somewhere.
I do. I have it here.
There you go.
I have it here. Yeah. So it came to Penn State School of Visual Arts office a few weeks ago, and the ISC was really generous. They gave me two. So one goes to the School of Visual Arts and one stays here. So soon I'll have it hanging. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Johanna. And Bonnie, I know obviously you have some words you'd like to say, so you can go ahead and just get started.
Okay. So I think in general, I prefer to be more in the background of things. So this is a very amazing sort of experience. But I felt like I really should have typed something down. So I'll be reading from something. I've been thinking a lot about what I might say this evening. The award is a true surprise and one that I'm very appreciative of. And to be honest, it's a bit overwhelming. I'm very grateful to the International Sculpture Center for establishing the unique context of this Educator Award. And I'm also thankful to the committee and students for their nomination. It's an honor to share this distinction with co-recipient Professor Foon Sham from the University of Maryland's Department of Art. Professor Sham's teaching career is profound, and his artistic influence is truly outstanding. So if this is recorded, please accept my sincere congratulations, Foon. I'd like to thank the ISC, Johanna, you, and Nicole, and everyone else for their professionalism in relationship to the award and in preparation for this ceremony. And to my colleagues at Penn State School of Visual Arts, the College of Arts and Architecture, I'd like to thank you for being an ever lively and inspiring group of practicing artists, art educators, administrators, and staff. There are some dear people in my family crest who I would also like to thank. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for their support, my brother Dennis for his creative inspiration, and a very special thank you to my husband, Matthew Olson. Matt is a frequent listener of my ridiculous course plans. Having his shoulder to lean on and his hand in care always feels like a winning lottery ticket. Sculpture as a discipline is open. That is why I love it so much. It nestles traditional object making, installation, video, performance, and relational aesthetics under one sculptural umbrella. Positioning space itself as a malleable material through these varied applications allows sculpture to be rich through difference. As a genre, it is adaptive, both reverent and irreverent to the past, pushing towards the future. Sculptural form can become monumental in scale, but its install can come to a sharp halt when a threaded nut does not match the bolt it is supposed to fit into. In this way, sculpture teaches you that tiny things matter. Positioning a visual idea in space usually doesn't end with the act of placement. It often asks an artist and/or an art student to take accountability of the space their work occupies while another comes close to it. But whose body is the viewer's body? Is their body like one's own, or might it be different? If it's different, how? And who has the right to say what is different? Who might have privileges to what spaces and who does not, and why? These questions do not have tiny consequence. Rather, they are vast. This push and pull between intimate details and social impact often floods the sculptor's mind. Sculpting the temperament of space is not only a solo act, it can be done collaboratively. I have been fortunate to share workspace with amazing students who have diverse personal lives and stories of resistance. It's hard not to be inspired by the student who works 2 outside jobs on top of a full-time course schedule, or the international student who finds loopholes through US travel bans to begin an exhaustive journey during COVID to get back to their undergraduate studio because they want to stand in a tangible space to make their new work that much. It is hard not to be inspired by the many alumni I have been lucky to work with who are becoming names in the field, some who give tremendous energy to their own students as they teach multiple adjunct positions with little job security. To all the students I have been privileged to work with, this award is because of you. Thank you for sculpting space with your work to encourage people to re-see the world in relationship to your identity, to your concerns, and your imagination. Thank you for working dedicatedly in virtual and tangible spaces when financial, emotional, and pandemic burdens mount. To the many mentors who have shared their pedagogical life with me, this award is due to you.
Thank you to distinguished Professor Christopher Staley for his commitment to students and to asking good questions. To Dr. B. Stephen Carpenter for introducing me to the concept of backwards design, a curricular plan that I am still clumsily learning, but one that makes me examine how varied threads of lesson plan can link from the student's perspective. And to Dr. Simone Osthoff, who is one of the smartest and most caring educators I have ever met. I want to especially thank my undergraduate teachers at VCU, Elizabeth King and Joe Steipel, Carlton Newton, Lester Van Winkle, and the late Myron Helfgott, who showed me many years ago that dedication for sculpture and teaching by actively doing. I watched this core set of very important people give their resources to encourage others to find their purpose by showing up, taking risks, making things, and being part of a community. I think of these undergraduate teachers every week of my life, remembering serious studio lessons and silly shenanigans. Their sculptural enthusiasm was infectious, and while I didn't have a vocabulary for it at the time, I now understand why their marks were so life-changing for me. They were making value visible. What a gift that is, to take the time to render another's value. In the studio classroom, value can become visible in a seemingly effortless way, such as when students rally around each other. Other times, value is coaxed forth in a clumsy yet genuine way, such as when we misinterpret what others think or say. Sometimes a class will realize their collective value through shared labor or common purpose, such as installing an exhibition. On other days, shared learning comes through acknowledging acts of kindness in a world often starved of empathy. Certainly, the studio classroom is not the only place that rendering value can happen, but is often the place that our teachers work in. What my students have taught me is that no matter where we all are on our human journey, we all have the ability to shape space by how we can make another person feel. Technical tools allow one to do this with our artwork, as these tools help pitch material in space to defy gravity. But the human tool of empathy allows us to do this by how we smith tiny actions to render value visible. The classroom is the rare and alchemical place where both these shaping skills overlap and interconnect. It has been my privilege and honor to be in the midst as they evolve simultaneously through countless interactions with students. To all of you, thank you. You have changed my life immeasurably. And thank you for your time to let me share my thoughts. I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. I'm truly glad that we are recording this because I know that the people who could not join us tonight will absolutely want to hear that wonderful, wonderful speech. So we're definitely going to share it. Thank you. Wow. Okay. We have some people who want to share more about the wonderful Bonnie. So I will let them take it away. Joe, when you are ready, you can unmute and get going.
Well, there's nobody in the world I'd rather talk about than Bonnie Collura. So this is my absolute privilege. I've known Bonnie now, I was going to say 20 years, and I recalculated, and I think it's 30 and maybe even a little more than that. But during that time, I've had an opportunity to see her mature from an undergraduate student to a graduate student to a consummate professional artist and teacher. Shortly after I moved into the dean's office for my position as chair of sculpture at VCU, through a stroke of exceptionally good fortune, we were able to bring Bonnie to the VCU sculpture department as a visiting artist and faculty member. This is where I saw how this one-time student of ours had matured into a sought-after and brilliant teacher. Bonnie comes to teaching with an almost encyclopedic understanding of sculpture materials and processes. Her teaching combines the passing on of those object-making skills with her deep knowledge of art history, theory, and her visual vocabulary. Her own work is visual poetry, showing us her incredible depth of commitment and providing us with the visual evidence of her belief in the power of the physical object. This intensity of her commitment to the making of art is mirrored by her love and enthusiasm for teaching. This clarity and commitment to her work is noted by her students. She is an important role model. Her generosity and willingness to share her experience as a professional artist has assisted many of her young graduates as they move into their professional lives. Her knowledge of the contemporary art world and how one navigates the gallery and museum system has helped students get a realistic sense of how the profession works. Along with her incredible teaching skills, Bonnie is, in my estimation, one of this country's most surprising and interesting artists. Her exhibitions at the Aldrich Museum, the Lehman Maupin Gallery, the Susan English Gallery, her Guggenheim Fellowship are just a few of her impressive professional accomplishments. Having had a number of opportunities to hear Bonnie speak publicly, I know just how clear and unclouded she describes the content and conceptual underpinnings of her work. She brings that intensity to her teaching. She is totally focused on all aspects of her students' work, from inception to presentation. Along with being a drop-dead brilliant person, Bonnie is a pleasure to be around. You will never find a more professional and cooperative colleague. She's also a masterful teacher. She cares deeply about her students and will work tirelessly to assist them. Bonnie has the personality and professional credentials to deserve this honorific award. My heartiest congratulations to Bonnie, and my thanks to the IFC for their recognition of this truly outstanding artist and incredibly valuable sculpture educator. Thank you.
I'll unmute so you can hear my applause and we'll pretend it's everybody's. Thank you so much, Joe. Katie, when you're ready, I'll let you take it away next.
Hi, everyone. I was a student of Bonnie's from 2012 to 2014. And she really changed my life as an artist. And that was the main reason why I wanted to go to graduate school. I wanted to learn more about myself and more about my work. And Bonnie was absolutely instrumental in starting that in my career. I've learned an absolute ton from her as far as technical abilities and as far as how to go about teaching and pedagogy in my personal practice. I currently adjunct at Northampton Community College, and then I've been working professionally in the sculpture field for several years. Her teaching is something I think about every day. She's been tirelessly dedicated to the improvement of her students, and she would be extremely generous with all of the feedback she'd provide with all of our work. I remember in graduate school, she used to give like page-long descriptions of feedback whenever we had a critique. You know, she always wanted to make sure the students got absolutely everything that they needed. And she really wanted to reach out to every single person and made sure that they felt seen and heard. And that's something that's always stuck with me. And I really wanted to stress that with my students. I wanted them to feel seen and heard. And Bonnie's somebody that's always made me feel that way. And she's just been such an inspiration. And I've been really fortunate to have her as a friend and a mentor for many years. I mean, we probably we text each other about weekly. So it's been really wonderful that, you know, we have a friendship as well. So I've been really fortunate just to have Bonnie as a friend and mentor in my life, and to thank Bonnie for everything that she's done for me. And it just means the world.
Thanks, Katie. Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Thank you, Katie. All right, Christopher, I believe we'll have you up next. You can unmute as you are ready.
Thank you, Nicole. I just have a few thoughts and comments. I was a bit surprised when Bonnie asked if I would just say a few words at this well-deserved award ceremony, and she just said, you don't have to talk about me, just talk about teaching. But I kept, as I was thinking about pedagogy and teaching, I kept thinking about Bonnie. And I think I've often asked my students, you know, what quality do you appreciate or value most in educators? And they always say enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is so contagious and inspiring. And Bonnie personifies enthusiasm and passion. I've felt so lucky to be a colleague of hers, because I've always felt that I was a better teacher in person by having the opportunity to work with her. And I've certainly heard that others and from students as well. I think too, what also really impresses me is critique with Bonnie, and she'll have these brilliant insights, but then out of nowhere, she'll say, I don't know, what do you think? And it's such a wonderful thing that when she does that, because it makes everyone feel like they're in this process of discovery, and we're learning things about ourselves, and we're certainly learning what others say, but it's often driven after she says something really profound with a question. And she has the wisdom to know how important it is to always be asking questions. And it's just rare to have these talents all combined together. And I just want to say congratulations. And I feel so blessed and fortunate to have worked with you all these years, Bonnie. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much. And then we have Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, whenever you are ready, I'll let you take it away. Oh, you're muted. So if you want to just take a second to unmute.
Unmute.
There you
There we
go.
go. Great. When Bonnie told me that she had gotten this award, I was so thrilled. And late one night, I thought, do I still have the letter of reference I wrote for her when she was in undergraduate school? And I do still have the letter. And I dug it out. And so what was Bonnie like as a student? What was Bonnie like as an undergraduate student? I'll just read a few excerpts from the letter I wrote for her on January 12th, 1994. So this is, to complete Joe's math, this is what, 27 years ago. Yeah, is that right? 27 years ago. I look at Bonnie's work and the hairs stand up on my neck. Her most recent piece, an installation many months in the making, takes the tightly coiled tension, the fierceness of her single objects into a theater of arrested spectacle so compelling it is as if the room is full of ghosts. She speaks of the hyper detail of her pieces, describing a process in which the actions of hand and substance reach a point of meltdown and transformation. I remember vividly the young woman in my 1990 freshman foundation class whose fire and willpower propelled her well ahead of the group. Later, I learned that she had in fact been a competitive runner in her teens, and that her dream to base a career on it had been halted by an injury in a car accident. But her engagement with art making has the athlete's hallmark of self-testing for ultimate performance. Along with ambition, she has a staying power in the studio that has set the standard for other students in the sculpture department. Her work of the past 4 years has transformed itself again and again as she has explored every way she can find for making things. She relishes the battle between her wits and Mother Nature that sculpture's discipline offers. Bonnie Collura is headed for the big league. Congratulations, Bonnie.
Thank you, Liz.
What a wonderful memory. I'm so glad you could share that with us. And thank you again to all of the speakers this evening. As someone who has not had the pleasure of meeting Bonnie in person, it's been very lovely to get to know her through your words, through Johanna's words, and through the whole Educator Award process. So one more time, if you want to give your virtual round of applause, we can celebrate Bonnie together. So I mentioned earlier that we had a little bit of a video to show. Bonnie, I know you wanted to give a little bit of context. So if you want to talk about that, you can do so. And when you're done, I will pull up the video for everybody.
Okay, sure. So originally we were going to have the ceremony at Penn State. We were talking about sort of when to have it and
I thought it might be nice if if this ceremony occurred when a student exhibition was up. That way people would get to see the sort of strength of our program. But, due to COVID and I felt it was best if we pivoted the ceremony to an online format, just to be safe. So due to the stellar talents of Cody Goddard and Stephanie Swindle and Lindsay Landfried, we were able to capture the exhibition that is on view that we were thinking people would be seeing in person. And so the show is called Unprecedented. It's a group exhibition by second year and 1/3 year Master of Fine Arts students, Alex Gayton, Harrison Bowden, Megan Gottfried, Menchi Zhu, Shataski Mehra, and Yanhee Park. And it's held in the Zoller Gallery in the Visual Arts Building at Penn State School of Visual Arts. The show, in my opinion, exemplifies the amazing resilience that our students have as they push their creativity forward during the pandemic. It also highlights the cross-disciplinary nature of SOVA's MFA program, as MFA candidates are encouraged to work across disciplines as they reach towards their final thesis semester. The show was installed the week prior to the start of the fall 21 semester, and today is the last day of the exhibition. A big part of this second year graduate show is that graduate faculty representing drawing and painting and ceramics, graphic design, new media and photography, printmaking and sculpture come together, which we did this past Monday, to give a virtual and in-person critique of the work during the students' graduate seminar class. So again, this is just really a small taste of really one of the best things about our program, which is the students' work. And it's really impressive that they made all of this under so many difficulties of access, COVID, all of that stuff.
Thanks, Bonnie. Before I pull the video up, I just wanted to mention it does not have sound, so I didn't want anyone to think that they were missing out if they didn't hear anything, but I will get this video up for you in just a moment. Thank you so much to your media department for putting that together. Of course, we would have loved to see it in person, but I'm absolutely thrilled that we could share it with everyone here virtually, and we'll get to remember it. So with that, I'd just like to offer some closing statements, and then because we have time, if there's anyone else that would like to, unmute and just say a quick word to Bonnie before we let you go into your weekend, we can do so. As Johanna mentioned, Bonnie is on the cover of the September-October issue of Sculpture Magazine, so definitely check it out. If you would like a digital copy, just drop your email in the chat box for me, and I will make sure that we send you one. Speaking of this award, the Outstanding Educator Award, we have opened nominations for 2022. So if you go to sculpture.org, you can find our Educator Award page and you can submit your nomination. So we certainly look forward to that, and having Bonnie be part of the committee this year to kind of go through that whole process with us. And then the final thing, we've opened registration for our 2021 virtual conference, and we're really excited about the offerings and the programming there. So again, you can visit our website. We have a special conference page, and we really look forward to sharing that with you. So that's all the good ISC juicy stuff. So like I said, we have a little bit of time. So if there's anyone that would like to unmute and just share a quick word, I'll let you do so. Or if you'd like to put it in the chat box for me to read aloud, I will do that. Bonnie, if you have anything you'd like to add, and if Johanna, you have anything you'd like to add, I will give some time.
I do have one quick thing to say. As educators and students, we do have a special rate for the conference, and you just have to call and check in, but it's $750 for 10 students and 2 free faculty. So if you want to bring less students or more students, we can come up with a package, but this year the conference is really inexpensive. It's only $125, and it's on a platform where you can watch it live or watch it later. But it's the subject is community voice, and it's really listening to voices of different communities throughout the world. It's very international. So it's definitely worth bringing your students. And if you have difficulty even paying that amount, then just let us know. We'll make it happen somehow. So just to sort of add that, it's really important that we have the student voice at our conferences, because they are the next generation. So if you have questions about that, just let us know, and we can make sure that we can get you and your students to the conference.
Thank you, Johanna. Like I said, if you need to hop off, you're welcome to, but if anyone has any last minute thoughts, please feel free to share. And if not, I'll offer one more in sound applause for Bonnie, and we can all
Thanks,
pretend we're
Nicole.
hearing it together.
Thank you. And thanks, everybody. I know how busy everybody is, and the fact that you take your time to come, this means a lot to me. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, I just really honored that that the committee selected me and the students nominated me, and that you're all here. So thank you.